All right. So as the price of having to heat your house increases every single year in the state of Washington, Chris Doel has some advice. Although Chris would probably not say do this directly, but you could. Get your kid, this is my part of it, get your kid addicted to vape and have him vape a tremendous amount. Maybe have his friends vape as well. Get enough of these vapes, and then at that point, you need to follow everything that Chris tells you to do. Chris, how could I power my entire house with vapes?
It sounds ridiculous,
Yes.
but yeah, you absolutely can.
Be-
So right behind me, right here,
Yeah.
this is a power bank made completely from disposable vape batteries, a full power wall. So I've actually used this to power this entire workshop and my whole house completely off the grid. So right now, as we're talking, this workshop completely disconnected from the grid, not paying a single penny for the electricity. And yeah, it's powering the Wi-Fi, this laptop, all the lights, all off of disposable vape batteries.
You, we'll get into how you kind of discovered all this sort of stuff, but I want to take you back to when you were a kid. What was the first thing you ever took apart?
Oh man, I don't know. I was taking it apart earlier than I can remember, to be honest. Yeah, all of my toys as a kid, it would always end up stripped to absolute bits. I wouldn't be able to always put it back together again, but honestly, yeah, I don't know. Electronics have always been my thing. I've always wanted to. Since I was super young, I wanted to be an inventor.
Yeah.
And I suppose I've kind of achieved that now. I've made some pretty cool stuff.
I think you have. You really have, because what you noticed, I guess you saw these things disposed of. People just sort of throw them on the ground after concerts and stuff like that. And in each one of these is a battery. And then you went to
Yeah.
extraordinary means in order to pull all the batteries out, then test the batteries. I couldn't figure out from the total amount of time you put into it as an inventor as to how to make sure all the batteries were equally charged, and then to have each one of them then be, set up to give off a certain amount of voltage in order to run the whole house. How many hours do you think you put into this experiment in order to turn vapes
Oh,
into power?
too long, way too long. Probably, I think I added it up the other day. Probably about 700 plus hours making this thing, and that is a serious amount of time. It was about the last 7 months. Every evening, been working on this thing, but I think it paid off in the end.
Whatever you consider the payoff to be, I was watching the video of you doing it. I thought to myself, he's there alone in his little workshop, and he's sawing this stuff, and he's breaking them apart and putting them in there, and then testing them. And I thought to myself, at a certain point, was Chris thinking like, okay, this is nuts. Like, I'm just going to give up.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, I'm not gonna lie. Since I even found out that there's rechargeable cells in here, I have totally thought I was nuts. At first, I thought I was nuts because everyone was just throwing these things away. So like they're marketed as like completely disposable, but like the engineer in me is like, what? These aren't disposable. It's got electronics in it. I can literally see the lights blinking. There's got to be a power source. It's not disposable. So yeah, like I was trying to tell all my mates, hey, I've cracked it open. The battery's fully rechargeable. Why are we throwing them away after one time? I literally looked like a conspiracy theorist. I genuinely thought I was crazy. So then that's kind of what made me think, I tell you what, I'm going to spread some awareness. I'm going to collect together like tons and tons of these and start building crazy stuff. So yeah, first started out by building a power bank. So you collect together 35 of them, install them in here, and you've got a fully working power bank. Then I built an e-bike battery. This one here, inside of here, this is 100 vape cells for an e-bike battery. And then yeah, this is my last video that I've made on YouTube of me building this entire massive power wall and powering the whole house. And yeah, to be honest, like that is 700 hours of reflecting. Like, what on earth am I doing with my life?
But all right, so were you motivated by like because you have a screw loose, which you could probably tighten with a Phillips head? Is it were you like, okay, I'm doing this because I just want to see how it ends, or is it you sort of morally like society needs to change and there needs to be more awareness? Like, what was the main thing?
I think it kind of it started with the second one. So like when I made the power bank, I was thinking like, this is a bit crazy. Like no one knows about this, and obviously like the marketing is like straight up deceptive to tell you, just chuck these in a bin, buy another one, forget about it. So yeah, I thought that I'm gonna try and expose this a bit. I didn't know if anyone would be interested, so I just made a little video, more kind of for myself, put it out there, and the video blew up. It's on like 2.5 million views now. So I was there like, oh Jesus, right? People are really interested in this stuff. So then I was just there like, right, okay, people are interested. It's raising awareness. I'm just gonna make bigger and more ridiculous things.
Right. So then I guess once people get the awareness, then what you want is them to take some sort of action after all the action that you took, which is, I don't know, somebody write a law, or, you can't dispose of them, or these things. Because environmentally, if you're throwing this stuff in the ground, every one of those batteries, it'll take a while to decompose and all the stuff around it.
Yeah.
But there's some serious chemicals in here, right, that eventually get somewhere into the water or wherever else it's going to go. So I guess at the end, you'd say to yourself, well, I put all this time into it. And then because I put all this time into it, and yes, people watch it because it's kind of quirky and sort of weird. But then after that, laws were written, manufacturers had to change, and it all goes back to, what Chris Doel did in his garage.
Yeah, kind of. That's kind of how I like to think that it's played out, especially as recently there was actually a ban on disposable vapes here in the UK. And I think, to be honest, it did seem to really raise a lot of awareness. There was a lot of like news stories on the video itself, and like we had like a news company come round and video the things that I've been doing. So hopefully, I had a play in that.
Yeah.
And I already know that over 1,000 people ended up downloading all the files to build this power bank. So it's like 3D printed, and you can order all the bits for it. So that means we've saved 35,000 vape batteries from going in the landfill already.
Yeah.
And hopefully a bunch more people have converted to rechargeable ones where we're not throwing away, all these crazy toxic things, or, like all the components in it. They're not going to break down for, decades or centuries. It's crazy.
So in a way, you save the environment and possibly, I don't know, save somebody's life or something, but you would put people's lives in danger if they wanted to build a scooter that goes more than 50 miles an hour, which I watched that video. I got to tell you something. I mean, the fact that you took that crappy old scooter and you're ripping down some, by the way,
man.
could you find a worse road to be on?
Yeah, a little tiny dirt road, bumps all on it. That was terrifying, honestly. When you're in like a low down car and you're going 70 and it feels like you're going 100.
Right.
Well, 50 miles an hour on a mobility scooter feels like 300 miles an hour. That thing was so rickety.
I don't know how the whole structure stayed intact, that the wheels didn't fly off the thing.
It doesn't make sense. It was only made for 4 miles an hour, and I didn't like upgrade the chassis. I just put a massive stinking motor on it and just blasted it. Yeah, not gonna lie, I genuinely thought there was a really big chance I was gonna come away with some serious injuries, but people like the video.
Yeah, they did. By the way, so when I clicked on something about you, I put it up, and then it gives you another video to watch later on. Then there was another guy who, I guess, either inspired by you or I don't know, whatever else, didn't get enough oxygen at birth. So his thing was he has a camera that looks so the camera's looking at a countdown clock. And if he can't do a Rubik's Cube fast enough, then he gets punched in the face by a punching, like a glove right here on the side, just punching him in the head the whole time. So you've inspired other people to come up with other crazy stuff.
Crazy stuff. I tell you could probably combine the ideas. So if you don't vape fast enough, you're in the head, and then at least at the end, you'll probably get a free power wall out of it.
What's the next thing you're working on? I hate to ask.
No, honestly, it's a perfect time to ask, because literally this weekend I've bought a really tiny electric vehicle, and I'm actually going to try and drive a car using the power of disposable vapes now. So that's the next thing I'm working on.
So I guess the good thing that would come of this, people would go, okay, I vaped and vaped. I'm not going to, so I could take the battery out. Like if you design something, they take the battery out, and if they have a second use for it that then gives them some benefit, they would not just throw it away, right?
That's exactly it. Yeah. Because like I realized when I was making my videos, there's two angles to this. So there's like hopefully the regulation side of things, and we're going to raise enough noise to actually get them to do something about these ridiculous things. But we're not really doing anything in the moment. So it's, I guess, spreading the message of, hey, you should really figure out a way to recycle these things. And if you can't, and if you've got some savviness, then that's why I like released this kit that I've got here disassembled, where you do just slot in 35 of the vape batteries, put it together, and then you can charge your phone and your laptop with this, and this is going to last for years.
Yeah, you're right. So, like, you go to the grocery store, you get a plastic bag, you use the plastic bag to bring your stuff home, but then you use the plastic bag for another thing, then you would be more likely to keep the bag. So the same thing would happen with this.
Exactly.
Okay, I vape, take the thing out, stick it in the device, stick it in the box that you're showing there, and they're like, okay, now I'm powering I have something to power a cell phone or laptop or whatever else. So because it has a second use, people put value behind it and they don't see it as garbage.
Yes, that is exactly it. And I think that's what's so crazy about this whole thing, is that, like, there are genuinely crazy valuable things inside of here. You know, we're going to end up with a lithium and cobalt shortage because of, like, all the batteries that we need for our electric vehicles and stuff. And yet we're making devices with lithium and cobalt, and we're saying they have no value, chuck them away into the bin. And to me, that is just absolute madness.
So I'm going to end it with this. You ready? I did some math. So the number of these vapes sold a year is 120 billion, and at 3 volts a piece, that is, so then we're going 3 times 7. So that is enough electrical power to explode more than, I think, 1 million atomic bombs.
I think that genuinely sounds about right. It's absolutely ridiculous. Like, I know, I've seen the studies. In the UK, we're throwing 1 million away a day, and yet only 500 powers my house. So, like, it really does show how much energy there is in all these things.
Who's your favorite inventor of all times? If you could eventually have your name on that list somewhere, who would be your top 3?
Oh, I don't know if I could do a top 3. I think Nikola Tesla, he was a really cool guy. I think he was awesome. I'd just put him number 1. No. He was a genius. There was something different going on in his brain.
Yeah. Is something different going on in yours as well?
Yeah, I guess there's something good going on, but there's also a bit of, weirdness, a bit of self-destructiveness with the 50-mile-an-hour mobility scooter. But I guess it's fun for people to watch at the end of the day.
Yeah, it is. Of your mates, your friends, are you the most annoying?
Am I the most annoying? Possibly. Yeah, especially how much I judge them for chuffing on these things. I'm sure they're probably absolutely sick to death of me about that.
All right, we'll leave it at that. Chris Doel, thanks a lot. Hopefully you've changed the world. If not, you've powered somebody's cell phone and made all of us more aware of what's really inside this stuff.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you so much, man.
Bye, Chris.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you so much, man.
Bye-bye.
Really appreciate
Bye-bye.
it.
Thanks.